Well. Welcome to the first review for Agile Hive Cloud of 2025. I'm happy you joined us today for our February version of the review. And let's dive right in with the most important announcement first. The next review will take place on March the 6th of 2025. It's Thursday again. So we'll be happy to see you there as well. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, you need any information on Agile Hive, you can follow us on our socials on LinkedIn, YouTube, and also you can add the review to your calendar following this URL. Let's start with some general updates on Agile Hive Cloud. As probably you may have noticed already, we adjusted the pricing for Agile Hive in December of 2024. This is just a brief reminder for you. If you haven't checked out the new pricing already, you can find all the information on our homepage at agilehive.com/pricing. If you have any questions regarding the pricing or how to move forward when renewing your license, please feel free to reach out to us at any time so we can find the best solution for your individual situation. Also, if you want to stay up to date with Agile Hive, one of the go-to places is our weblog, where our colleague Joshua will release some new blog posts from time to time, I think once or twice a month. And you can find the blog also on our website, agile-hive.com/blog. And feel free to visit that weblog and drop us a note if you find something that you like. Then, if you are already evaluating Agile Hive and you need more time, we know it's kind of a complex application and you are operating with the SAFe framework in probably quite a complex environment, then you can always reach out to us if you need more time than the general or the usual 30 days that Atlassian provides you with. So we can find a solution for you. So we can find a solution for you and extend your free evaluation period for Agile Hive and also provide you with some best practices, some setup information, and just provide some good evaluation support along the way. You can reach out via our help desk or just drop us a note here if you are joining us for the live session. Moving on with the product updates and the demo. And as some of you may know, the January review was skipped. So we had a whopping 6 new versions in the meantime, which is nearly double of what we have for usual review sequence. So there's quite some stuff to show today. And as usual, our goal, the dev team goal, is to release a new version every Tuesday. It might differ from time to time depending on how the testing goes and whether or not there are some short-term bugs to fix. But usually we aim for 1 release a week. And usually this should drop every Tuesday. You can find all information on the most recent changes in our changelog. The URL is here on the slide. And brief reminder here as well. On December 4th, we shipped the version that was considered a major release by Atlassian. And those releases need to be manually installed by a Jira administrator in the universal plugin manager of Jira. So in case your Agile Hive is not yet on the latest version, this might be the reason. So please ask a Jira administrator to check that and press the update button in case it is available for you. All right, here we go. As I said, there's quite a lot to show today. So we have plenty of new features and improvements that we shipped over the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, actually. And there are some major ones. There are some that are still in the making that are more or less half shipped and will get further extensions over the next few weeks. So I will go into detail on each and every single one of them now. So first, we shipped new Agile Hive specific permissions on the project on the global level. We'll take a look at an overview in a minute. Then we actually also shipped improved support for changes of the organizational structure on the large solution and art levels. This is for now only on the backend side of Agile Hive, so the logic is already working as intended. What we are now working on is the user interfaces to give the user a better visual feedback of the changes they are implementing in the organizational structure. I'll get into that in a minute as well. Then we are currently working on, and more or less skipping one point here, we are currently working on the improved planning mode for teams. This changes basically how teams plan art level features in the PI planning, how the art product management communicates which features are prioritized for the upcoming PI, and how team boards, the logic team boards use to visualize the relevant features for each of the PIs for each of the teams. In that context, we added a new custom field to Agile Hive, which is called Assign Teams. You can see it in the list here as well. And we will take a closer look into how this is, how we implemented that solution, and what is to come over the next few weeks here, because this is also not 100% shipped. Then we will take a look at some smaller changes. For example, sticky section headers in the team planning board, which I think heavily improve the usability of the team planning board. We also implemented a feature that dynamically hides Agile Hive specific information and interface elements in Jira, especially for projects that are not part of the Agile Hive hierarchy. Could have been somewhat confusing to users to see all the Agile Hive UI elements, even though they were not even part of the safe organization. Then we added a navigation shortcut for all users, displaying the start projects in the navigation sidebar of Agile Hive for quicker access to your most commonly used projects. We added inline editing for several custom fields.
We also improved the dependency overview report widget. Precisely now, the dependency overview widget on the art level takes into considerations dependencies that are originating from the art planning board, making it easier to track which actual dependencies might occur in your PI instead of only the planned dependencies that originate from the art level roadmap. And also now you can filter the dependencies in the widget based on criticality, enabling you to also display dependencies that are in a healthy state and might become critical later as the PI progresses. In addition to that, we improved the updates for the current day data in the burn-up charts, which refers to only the current day data point, which is always calculated based on live data from Jira, which usually takes some time. And now this call is being processed asynchronously, resulting in a much faster loading time for all of the burn-up chart except this one data point, which will then be live updated at a later point as soon as the calculation is ready.
All right, let's start off with the Agile Hive specific permissions that we introduced, or that we are still introducing, as we are not finished yet. You can see here, this is taken from our knowledge base article on our new permissions that you can find right here. siebert.biz/ahc-permissions is the URL that you can visit to get an overview of this table, as well as in detail descriptions for each of the permissions that we added. And you can see on the left-hand side, basically those are the Jira user roles. You have anonymous user, you have the default logged-in Jira user, you have Jira administrators and site administrators or organization admins. And then to the right-hand side, you have for one the permission scope, which is either project or global, depending on which kind of permission we are talking about. And then each and every single feature that Agile Hive now provides a dedicated permission for. So the main idea here was that for large enterprises, we have a more detailed way for administration to assign permissions with specific users or specific user groups. and not have the one-fits-all Agile Hive administrator role that enables some users to either be able to edit and administer everything in Agile Hive or nothing if that permission wasn't granted. So now we differentiate between several permissions that can be assigned individually and provide a set of enables those users to perform some specific actions in Agile Hive. For example, we added the manage PIs and iterations project-based permission, which enables, of course, it can only be sent with logged-in Jira users, so the Access Agile Hive functionality or permission is always granted or included. But this one, for example, grants access to the My Organization part of Agile Hive, which is the project overview, as well as the PI and iteration management of the project that permission is being assigned for. The same applies for the Manage Agile Hive project members permission, which is also project-based. We do have Administer Agile Hive projects permission. Not to confuse that one with the default Jira Administer projects permission, which is, the wording is kind of similar, but one only applies to project settings within Agile Hive, and the other one grants access to the project settings in Agile Hive. This is right here, as well as Jira. Yeah. And then we have some global permissions that we already shipped or are working on, like the view all projects in Agile Hive project hierarchy. This basically gives you the permission to view all the project names of all projects added to your safe organization in Agile Hive. This was an issue formerly, previously, where you, even as an Agile Hive administrator, were not able to view the names and the keys of all the projects in your hierarchy, making it very difficult to edit or to maintain that hierarchy. So we added that permission to grant some exceptions there. Also, there will be another permission that we are currently working on, Manage Agile Hive Project Hierarchy, which gives permission to single users or user groups to actually edit the organizational structure in Agile Hive. And as before, we still have the Agile Hive Administrator, which basically provides you with almost all the permissions that are currently available in Agile Hive and works or acts as a general administrational user role for Agile Hive as an app. Besides that, Jira Administrator and Site Administrator, as they can basically grant themselves all of the permissions that are listed above, they also receive all the benefits from those permissions automatically. As I mentioned, you can read some more or read into more details on our knowledge base article on that. Next feature that we already shipped is the improved support for changes of organizational structures on the large solution and art levels. So what this basically means is that there might be a situation in your company where, for example, the setup of an art changes, where an art is supposed to be included in a larger solution train. So you need to move projects from one part of your organization in Agile Hive to another. And this previously resulted in a lot of hiccup, especially regarding the PI structure and the iterations. And even if you were able to move one art, for example, to a larger solution train, then that art would no longer have access to historic data, precisely their PI reports, for example. And what we now did is we improved the whole process there, enabling your arts that were moved to a different large solution train, for example, to still access historic PI reports and PI data. You can see this basically here. This is the art report page. This art was moved to a new large solution train. And now the art still has access to the historic PI that was conducted before the art was part of the large solution. And the large solution now provided this new PI, this upcoming or the current PI in that case, to the art. As mentioned, we are going to add some more user interfaces and modal wizards basically to guide users along the way during the adjustments in the organization. This will be added at a later point. We are currently working on implementing this, and this gives a good overview before or while you are making those changes, how your PI structure looked like before and how it will look like after the change finally is being implemented. So this will be available within the next few weeks. Then also one of the larger changes that we are currently working on concerns the team planning boards. As already mentioned, we are currently changing how teams and arts are planning features and are breaking features down into stories in the PI planning. And for this, also, we implemented the assign teams custom field as a new field that provides a way to pre-assign art level features with one or more teams. So those features will be available to those teams in PI planning. One more thing that we want to change, and those of you who know the Agile Hive data center version probably know this or find this quite familiar, as this basically works the same way as Agile Hive Data Center does for years already. In the cloud, we currently still have a feature planning for the teams that relies on the art level roadmap, which was considered not really straightforward by our customers. So we took that feedback and decided to change this to be aligned with the Agile Hive Data Center version. And this makes, especially for companies who are migrating from data center to cloud, very easy to adapt, as basically nothing changes. So you can see here on the right-hand side, we will have access not only to our teams backlog in our team planning board in PI planning, but also to the art backlog. And we will be able to add art level features to our team planning board one by one, and only for the team that will actually be working on those art level features and will conduct for example, feature breakdown in the PI planning. Yeah. We also have a knowledge base article on the changes that we have planned. And if I go here to our knowledge base, this basically explains everything that we have planned. This describes the current situation, the new way of planning. You see, this is this exact same screenshot that I just showed you in the Google Slides. Here you have a list of all the changes that we will be implementing over time. And down here, you will find some tips and tricks how you can transition from the old to the new way of planning, as we call it, and also find some more information on the beta feature that we just shipped with the most recent version of Agile Hive, and how you can use this preview to prepare for the change to be finally fully implemented. Talking of this, let's just jump to our demo site, our live demo site of Agile Hive, and we can take a look at that immediately. So I just navigate to one of my team level projects. I navigate to the planning board, and you can see currently this was the old situation. I have a lot of empty swim lanes here. All of those features are being synchronized with my team level project from the art level roadmap, or the art level roadmap. All of those features will be synchronized to all the team level projects in that art, regardless of that team will actually work on those feature or not. So a lot of irrelevant features here. So we added that hide empty parent filter to our team level board, which was more workaround than an actual feature. And now you can see here the improved planning toggle to activate this feature. If I now toggle that, you can see that I only have those features that I have already stories planned for in my team planning board, plus this one art level feature here. And we can take a closer look at that. And we can see that this art level feature was pre-assigned with my team for the respective PI. So you can see here some custom fields for Agile Hive For example, the assigned teams, which is the new custom field that I was just talking about. You can see here that this feature is being pre-assigned by the product management with the team Brooklyn and the team Queens, and also pre-assigned with the first PI of 2025. Navigating back to the tab with my team planning board, you can see we are in Team Brooklyn in PI, in the first PI of 2025. So the combination of custom fields here results in that feature being visualized as a swim lane in my team planning board, making it very easy to add features to precisely one team planning board for one specific PI, instead of just pulling it into my art level roadmap and synchronizing it with all the teams. I mean, if your art has like 10 or 15 teams, they most likely won't all be working on the same features. So you can differentiate for each feature which team should work on a specific feature in which PI. And then as soon as your teams in PI planning started the feature breakdown and started their actual planning, you can see in the teams involved field and the PI involvement field which team actually has work planned in which PI. So all fields that have assigned in the name are being assigned basically top down from the art layer to the teams, which is this team is supposed to work on this feature in a specific PI, and everything that is that has involved or involvement in the name is basically the bottom up perspective, like going from the actual team plan, which information or which teams are working on the respective feature. For more information, just take a look at our knowledge base. You can find all the information here. If you have any questions, just reach out to us at any time. Then we have more features that I want to show. For one, the sticky section headers in the team planning board. So if you see it here, it's super convenient. Wait, I need to get some more features into my art planning board real quick so I can scroll. You can see that when scrolling here, now the team swim lane here, as well as my feature swim lane, stays sticky when I scroll. So I always have the information, all right, what is the feature that those issues are probably planned for, and how is my capacity looking for the respective iteration. All of that was scrolling with the board previously, and now we have that fixed in the board during scrolling, which makes it very easy to keep track of capacity, load, and also for the orientation within the features in the board. Very convenient. Then another thing that we added concerns Jira and not actually Agile Hive itself. So let me just, in the new navigation, let me just navigate to one of our Agile Hive projects. Let's take this board. You can see that when you were working in the Jira section of a project, you had those quick links here in the navigation, like view this project in Agile Hive, or let me just open up any issue. You had in the apps drawer, you had the save hierarchy as an option. And on the right, in the right-hand sidebar in the issue view, you had the Agile Hive panel providing some more information on that issue. Now, you might have projects in your organization, users in your organization that are not part of the SAFE organization and that are not working with Agile Hive. And their projects just had the same interface elements as well, which might be confusing to those users as they don't really have a connection with Agile Hive. They don't really know what to do with that. And so if we navigate now to a non-Agile Hive project, you can see that we now hide all the Agile Hive specific interface elements in those projects, like here in the navigation, as well as in the issue view. You do not have the save hierarchy here, nor do you have the Agile Hive panel in the right-hand sidebar, which is just for a cleaner experience for all your non-Agile Hive users in the Jira side. Then going back to the Agile Hive part of Jira, you can already see here in the left-hand sidebar, we now added the start section to the navigation, which is basically a quick a quick navigation for the most commonly used projects of mine. So I can in Jira set some project like this one, for example, here. I can add this project to my start projects. Now it moves up here in the Jira sidebar. And now I can refresh my Agile Hive view. And you can see that Team Queens now also appears here in my start projects. And this makes it very, very convenient to navigate to this project if I need this project link more often, instead of having to look it up in the full organization every time I want to access it. And I can, or I can put any of my projects here, art, team, also solution train or portfolio level. And I have a very convenient way of quickly accessing those. Then we added something for several custom fields, and namely inline editing. So if you remember the assigned PIs field for objectives and risks, when you wanted to set a value for that field, you had to click here, and then a modal opened up and overlay over the whole screen. And now we have this convenient way of editing the field with this inline experience. So you can just select values from the dropdown, apply, and now the field holds the value you desire. The same applies for the assigned teams custom field. So you can select up to 30 teams. Well, my art currently only consists of 3 teams, so I can select from those. And easy as that, I have this field edited, and the new information is automatically being stored. Also very convenient. Then one more feature that we just implemented concerns the dependencies widget in the art level report. And as you can already see, there's a new filter icon right here in the top right corner. And now I have a way of filtering which kind of dependency I want to display in that dependency report. So might be the case that I only want to focus on the critical dependencies that are currently unresolved. So I can set the filter to critical only. This was the previous default, critical and at risk. And now we added the option to also display healthy dependencies, which for now are not of an issue for the PI execution and delivering in time. But there might be cases where a healthy delivery during the PI turns at risk or even critical. So you need probably to take track of those even when they are not yet in a critical status. So now you can simply select what kind of dependencies you want to display in this filter menu. Also, one thing that we changed regarding the dependencies widget, which was based on customer feedback. Previously, the dependencies widget displayed dependencies based on the art level roadmap, so the desired plan of the product management. This, especially during PI execution, did not really reflect the actual status of dependencies. So what we now did is, and you can see that in the tooltip right here, the dependencies widget now refers to dependencies based on the art planning board, which is based on the actual PI execution and the actual team plan for this PI, not the roadmap. And this is the default now for the dependencies widget as soon as there is some team planning available for a specific PI. If you have a planned PI that is still in the distant future and you do not have any team level planning available for this kind of PI, the dependencies widget will still refer to dependencies based on the roadmap. This helps product management to line out items on the roadmap and resolve dependencies in the early roadmap plan. But as soon as teams start planning the actual work that is being conducted in that PI, the dependencies widget will switch from the roadmap to the art planning board and then reflect the actual PI plan instead of the the scheduled or the roadmap plan. And one last thing that we changed, which is very difficult to show, but I want to just give you an idea of what we did. It's a minor change that might have, depending on the size of your art and your planned issues, might have massive impact. And this concerns the art burnup, and especially this today data point, which is every time you access this art level report, this data point is being calculated in real time, which means that a lot of issues need to be considered here, and a lot of calculation needs to take place in the back, slowing down the loading time of this whole art burnup widget. And we now changed this data point to be calculated asynchronously. That means that as soon as the art burnup data is available, we will already display all of the art burnup except this one data point, and this will be calculated in the back as a longer running task. And as soon as this data point is available, we will refresh the art burnup chart on the fly, and it will just integrate or include the live data for the current day. This should result in a massively increased performance of the art burnup chart, and is a minor change but might have big impact. So let us know if you recognize any improvements here, and if you don't, we will take another look. All right. Those have been, I think, all the changes, or at least the new features. There have been plenty of bug fixes as well, so you might want to take a look at our changelog in case there is a specific issue that you are awaiting a solution for or a resolution for. And let's go back to the slideshow mode here. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, any bugs that you encounter, please don't hesitate to reach out. Now, migrating to cloud has been one of our main fields of work over the last few weeks and months. And we are happy to announce that we have finished work on the migration path version 2.0, which includes Agile Hive related custom fields. And what we are doing at the moment is monitor the migration path stability and performance, and add improvements along the way as we closely support customers with their migration projects and get some feedback from those migrations. We will still continue to improve this, but there at the moment are no new scope extensions planned or in the making for migration path. We still have some data that is not yet migratable, and we will take a closer look at that in the future, but also based on customer feedback and prioritization. So if you are planning to migrate in the not too distant future, please reach out to us so we can talk about your specific requirements and address potential issues that we can already identify today. Then taking a look at our short-term roadmap, this is basically what is currently already in development, in implementation by the dev team, or which is planned for the not too distant future. And we have a couple of features that we are currently working on, and most of them concern some functionality or some larger features that we already delivered some parts of. So for example, the Agile Hive permission concept that we just talked about, it's not 100% done. So we are still missing the Manage Agile Hive project hierarchy permission. This is being under development at the moment and will be shipped within the next, I think, 2 or 3 weeks at best. Then also the rework planning of art features with the team boards that we just saw. This will also be finalized. All the information can be found on our knowledge base page. Then we are currently in our internal innovation and planning iteration with the team. So we are updating some technical product dependencies in the code. We are improving the stability and also enhancing security, which is nothing that you usually see when using the app, but it's very important to keep the system at a high quality level and to keep it running. And also, what we are taking a closer look at the moment is the performance on the art level in general, especially reports, but also art planning board, and to some extent team planning boards as well, as we received some feedbacks from very large arts that ran into several issues in DPI planning. So we are closely monitoring that and improving performance here and there as necessary. As I just said, migration path work is currently more in a monitoring status. There is one minor to-do that we have already planned for one of the upcoming sprints, which concerns the migration of roadmap planning information, precisely the start and end dates, for example, of art level features or solution level capabilities. This information somehow slipped through our first iteration when we were migrating the custom fields, but we are now aware of it. And so we are closing the gap there, and it will be added to the migration path in the upcoming weeks. And before we look at our longer term roadmap, you can find all those informations at our roadmap page, public roadmap page as well. And this is our longer term roadmap, at least for the next 1 to 2 months. And as just mentioned, we are finishing our implementation of the integration of existing arts and existing solution trains. Mainly, this concerns the user interfaces that I just gave you an outlook for, the wizard modals that give you an overview of the proposed changes, as well as the DPI situation in all of your of the projects that are part of the change. We are finishing the rework planning of art level features. This concerns mainly the team planning boards, as well as the accessing the art backlog from the team board. We are finishing work on the Jira custom permissions for the Manage Agile Hive project hierarchy. And also, we are still in the prototype implementation for flow metrics. We are working with some third-party apps here, and we are, this is an ongoing process, and we are, quite optimistic that we will have something to show in the next few weeks. As mentioned, usability and performance improvements is an ongoing task for us, as well as monitoring and slightly extending the migration path from on-prem to cloud. For the upcoming PI, we already have some features planned, which concern reports on the solution train and portfolio level. I know that we promised this for a long time already, and you can really believe me, now we are really going to work on this topic or on that feature. So this time for real, reports for solution trains are coming to Agile Hive, and also, we are going to take a closer look at how artificial intelligence, probably especially the Atlassian intelligence, might be of use for Agile Hive, or might be of use in Agile Hive, how we can integrate that with safe specific use cases and extend Agile Hive functionality by some AI features. Please note that all of that might be subject to change, even though I don't hope it will be, especially for the part that we are promising for quite some time already. But you know how it works. Prioritization is something that might change based on your environment. If you have any feedback on that, if you have any feature requests, please feel free to always reach out. You have the feedback link here on the slide that you can use to raise feature requests in our service desk. We will get back to you immediately about that. And that was it for today. We will hopefully meet again for the next review on the 6th of March. Thanks all for participating. Have a great evening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to get into the discussion now. Thanks all for joining, and bye-bye.